The following portion of Daytime is sponsored by older Lundy Koch and Martino.
Sadly, when a loved one passes, it's common for family members to clash over the assets they left behind. Thankfully, there are steps that can be taken through estate planning to sort out any issues. Here to walk us through the process is Ann Taylor, who specializes in wills, trusts, and estates at Older Lundy. Welcome. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing well. You know, it's never easy thinking about or planning ahead for a passing in the family, but it's important. What are some of the mistakes, first off, that you see that people should avoid?
Well, the number one mistake is having no plan at all. So what I recommend is having something in place. Having a plan is like having a roadmap. It gives our family something to guide us. It tells us what to do. It navigates us through the process. That is the biggest thing, is not having any guidance whatsoever. So just having something in place, giving us some roadmap, some guidance, who should be in charge, what you would like to happen. That is such a big help for your loved ones in a time of chaos and crisis.
It is, and it can be so chaotic that you want the family to pull together to be able to share and love. But if the estate planning isn't done, it can create disputes and conflicts within the heirs. Do you see that often?
We do, and it's very sad when people are grieving and they should come together and instead they're divided because they don't know what their loved one's wishes are. So having that plan is a good way to avoid that. And it puts your wishes in a document. It puts it on paper. We don't have to guess at what you wanted because you've already told us.
Yeah, having it on paper, that is the key. And what is the role of a trustee or an executor? How do you pick someone like that?
Well, a trustee or an executor, those are the individuals that you designate to administer a will or a trust. And a good way to pick that person is to think about who you'd trust with your assets, who you trust with your finances, who you would want to make decisions for you when you wouldn't be around to make them for yourself. So think about who you trust with finances, who would be good with money, who's a trustworthy individual, because that's the person who's going to be able to make decisions and distribute assets to your beneficiaries when you're gone.
Find the most responsible person that you know.
Exactly.
Is it a good idea to have a conversation with the person that maybe you would want to have that role, or with the entire family, before you make this sort of plan?
Absolutely. I would always say that if you're going to pick someone to be in such a trusted role, talk to that person. Make sure they're up to the task. You don't want them to be surprised because you're not going to be around when they're asked to do this, because this, of course, happens after you've passed. So it's good to have a conversation with the individual that you'd like to be your trustee or an executor, just to make sure that they're comfortable doing that. And I also think it's important to have a conversation with the family. You don't necessarily need to tell them all the details of your estate plan, because sometimes that's a little bit private. You may not want your children to know exactly who's getting what. But I think it's important for them to know that there's a plan in place, and for them to know where the important documents are. And so long as they know that there is something in place and where to go and look for the important documents or who the attorney is, they'll know what to do in an emergency or should something happen to you.
That helps provide comfort for sure. Last quick question, what about blended families? Are there certain things that they should look forward to?
Yeah, blended families can be a little complicated. You've got, second wives and stepchildren and half siblings. And if you work with a good estate planning attorney, they can make sure that every member of a blended family is taken care of. We don't want people to be worried that if mom or dad or second wife dies first, who's going to get what. Everyone can be protected and everyone can feel secure if you work on having a good plan in place.
All right, that's the key. Thank you so much for being here with us
today.
And for more information, you can visit olderlundylaw.com or call 813-254-8998. We'll be right back.
The preceding portion of Daytime was sponsored by older Lundy Koch and Martino.